what you are supposed to do after 1 year? You are expected to have deeper involvement of the SVC integration process. You as a fresher, you learn something. You're shadowing a person. You're doing a small block integrating. You're learning something. It's like, how do you crawl? No? When you baby, you are all baby. After 6 months, you become ultra. You turn around, then you start crawling. After 10 minutes, you stand up. Then you walk and things like that. Right? Then you run. Right? Then you speak. There's a process, right? There's you evolve as a human being or a small boy, right? Same way, you also have to evolve like that in industry. You cannot say, I'll eat for small baby, 3 months, do you give pizza to 3-month-old baby? You don't, right? That baby will probably die if you give a pizza to 3-month-old baby. You just drink mother's milk, right? Maybe some other supplements also, right? So you cannot do architecture. Somebody told architecture, right? You cannot do it as a fresh graduate or with 1 year. It takes time. You have to be ambitious. I understand. You have to be ambitious. You have to eat that pizza, but are you ready to eat the pizza and digest that? So that's the thing we have to understand. Okay. Okay. So you should take the ownership task. What do you expect to do? You know what is the ownership? This is lacking in general in India. I'm sorry to say that. I work with many people. Very few people have the ownership. So what is the expectation when you say ownership?
Take the responsibility and deliver the task
Very good. Well, there's one more point I'm looking for.
on time.
No, that's okay. That's implied. Anything else?
Taking the complete responsibility of that.
That's what other girl also told, right? If you don't know anything, you should go and ask. If you have some doubts, you cannot assume and complete the task. You can't say, I'm this owner, I want to make a pizza and sell. The customer asks, customize pizza. Put a little more jalapenos, put some more garlic or something, he says. You have the ownership, but you don't know how to do it. Can you do something on your own? Assume they do it on, give to the customer. What will be the reaction if you do that?
Probably not good.
You'll get a bad rating in the app, actually, right? Let's say you're selling through Zomato or whatever app, no? Swiggy, you'll get a bad rating, correct? And it'll go viral in the public. They'll say XYZ company or this particular Pizza Hut, this branch is not doing customized pizza. They're all bogus. You'll get black marked, right? So instead, you should go to other person who has been doing pizzas for 5 years, asking how do you add more garlic, how do you add a little bit more jalapenos, no? Ask that question, then do it, actually, right? Okay. So we call that in industry escalation. Sometimes this escalation process. Do you understand what is escalation?
Not actually.
Let me tell you. Okay. So have you any of you lived in the hostel and stayed away from the home? Any of you have studied? Okay.
Yes.
So how much money you are? Okay. You get X amount of money from your parent, mother or father, doesn't matter, right? Or your guardian, whatever it is. No, get X amount of money. So you got sick, that month you spent some money in doctor and you ran out of money. 1 month money you spent in 3 weeks itself. What will you do for the 4th week?
Either ask for money if my parents are understanding.
Yeah, otherwise,
or adjust.
how do you adjust? You have to survey, you have to eat, no? What will you do for 1 week?
Ask my friends for help.
Then the next month you have to do some adjustments and resolve it, actually. Right?
Yes.
Very likely you give a reason your parents will give you if your under the financial background is very bad. No, understand that, right? But typically, the normal Gaussian go, the exceptions are that typically parents would love to support, if they don't have money, they would love to borrow and give it to you. It's genuine. But there are extreme cases either way, right? They'll give more money if you ask for 2,000, they'll give 5,000. Somebody asks for 2,000, you'll get only 1,000 because of financial circumstances, right? Everyone has a tight pocket, right? Towards the end of the month, typically, right?
Yep.
So you have to ask. Unless you ask, you have fever, you have to go to the doctor. Otherwise, how the doctor will know you have a fever? Correct? You go to a doctor, then he'll check your fever, he'll give you medication. Correct? If you said, no, I have fever, no, nobody will help you. Correct? So that is escalation. Correct? Soft escalation we can do. We talk about the food. No, you waited in the stomach, I'll wait for 10 minutes and I'll ask again. No, that's escalation. Things are not happening to your knowledge. Then you have to go to next person in the line and tell them, boss, I want help. I'm not getting it.
Okay,
right?
understood.
Yeah, that is escalation. So that is not in our culture. It's not in our blood. but you have to do that. If you want to be industry ready, you have to escalate. Okay. I'm diverging a little bit, but no, these are the values what you need to get it, right? It's not just technical thing. You can be technically good, but if you don't have this, you cannot ask questions. You'll be suppressed in the industry. You have to learn to ask questions. Okay. The response will expand, and as your ownership and will expand, you have to expect to work more independently, but also providing support and guidance to junior team members when needed. After 1 year, that's what happens. You learn something in the last 1 year. Now let's say you have 3 months window design course. Now, next one person asks, because I asked you to teach them what is a state machine. You should be able to tell that person in 10 minutes what is a state machine, right? So something like that. So you learn something in 1 year, you have to go back and give it back to the people, right? So that's you have to mentor people basically. Okay. Okay. So it's the same task. What are we going to do? Resource integration, verification, timing closure, power operation. And we added a little bit more, right? So same topics we'll take. You can go back to your slides and compare how the jobs change now, right? There's job description also is there, but let me see how much I can share. But you can read on your own. It's very fairly descriptive, as I told, right? I didn't read cryptic. I read fairly elaborative, and typically people write one bullet and then present. But here I want to write as a documentation, so you can read on your own anytime, right? So that's why we wrote it this way. Just write bullets in the presentation that people do any executives, right? So you're all students. I don't want to write like executive presentation, so it's written in some lines. Okay, so you should more actively involve in integrating IP blocks, ensure proper connectivity, resolving any integration issues that arise on your own after 1 year. So you have to solve problems. Industry all about solving problems, which is not taught in academic. You have 100 issues, since you have the ownership, you have to solve. If you cannot solve, you have to ask for help. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
And collaboration, we already spoke about. You have to collaborate more. In design verification company, you have to assist in creating test benches, enhancing test benches, running simulation, debugging the issues. As a fresher, you'll give some failing waveform and passing waveform. Say, I fixed the bug, it doesn't work. You have a reference to debug. After 1 year, you have to debug on your own slowly, right? So collaboration is very important. You'll collaborate a little bit more. We'll talk on day-to-day basis. And you improve on functional coverage and code coverage. Do you know what is the functional coverage and code coverage? What is it?
Yes.
Okay. Does everyone knows what is the coverage?
Yes, sorry.
Okay. So the coverage, you'll have to do that. All right. And you have to improve. The verification guy has limited knowledge about the design. But you as a designer, you have more knowledge, right? So you have to analyze the coverage report and tell what can be waived, where you can add more tests to improve that. So that part also will start doing after 1 year in the industry. And debug with the DB team on the bugs and close them. The bug tracking system will be there. The DB team may assign the bugs to you. So you have to debug that, you have to resolve it, and you have to fix it and give it back to them, to the verification team, right? And there are also gate level simulations are done. Once you have a netlist, after synthesis, you have to do a gate level simulation. So designer, right? To understand, you should debug and make sure that your RTL has been correctly translated into a gate level netlist, right? That, that's a joint ownership. Sometimes company to company changes. I've done gate level simulation on my own as a design guy. I've done as other teams. So this depends on that particular project, that particular company, that particular manager. Depends upon that. Timing closure, we spoke about it. Now you have to analyze the timing closure task, analyze the timing reports, implement necessary design changes. That was not there. You have to identify that. Now you have to make the design changes to solve the timing. Not only do the ECO fixes or something, but you have to change the design also to make the fixes. Right? And collaborate with the physical team for the timing related changes. Okay. Power optimization. We spoke about that, but you actively more work on. You have power target to work on. You have to beat your targets. Optimize as a fresher, you have to know what is the optimization can be done. After a year of experience in industry, you should know what is the goal set for you, and you have to be within that budget. What you call power budget, area budget, right? Cost budget. Everything has a budget. Industry is all about budgets. You have your targets, and you have to work within the target, right? If you don't meet the target, no, your customer will not accept your project. You got rejected. Okay. And you have to understand the system level understanding is extremely important, which I feel is lacking the current graduates today. You have to understand a system level. You may be doing one particular block in the big chip. Doesn't matter. You have to ask questions. How does this block talk to my other blocks? Talk to north, east, south, west. Let's say there are 4 interfaces called north, east, west, and south. So there are 4 blocks sitting around that. You have to understand, talk to the 4 people and understand how this particular signal is working, how this interface is working, how the software is going to talk this particular block. Right? So you have to understand that, how the software is integrating to design, how the software team is using your block. Right? Right? And how, then what can be done to improve? Let's say you have done some design. Oh my God, how we can improve and improve the end user experience. Right? So how we can do that? That is more important. Okay. And analog interfaces. Design will have analog interfaces. Any questions?
No, no, sir.
Okay. So you should know how to interface analog, because the entire world is analog. Digital is only abstraction. So you have to understand, when you come to real world, everything is analog in terms of sine waves and noises and everything, right? I have some noise going around me. I'm in a kind of little common, I'm not inside a private room. So that is analog, right? It's not ones and zeros. So that is extremely important. You have to understand that, okay? So analog is very important. Not many students understand analog, but analog is very important. So DFT integration is very similar, but you go into more details on test coverage and you prove the test coverage. So your failures and reliability will improve and failures will reduce. Manufacturing will be better. So you'll do that kind of a work. And debugging and issue resolution is day-to-day basis is what you do in industry. You have to solve problems. You have to fix problems. You have to debug. Right? So that's what is the thing, mantra in industry. Analytical skills are very important for that. There are many solutions to a given problem. Okay. The document reporting, we already spoke about that. You can read on your own, I'll skip. Yeah, mentorship and collaboration, new thing. Now you have to share your knowledge. You spent 1 year in the industry. Now you have to share your knowledge with the junior member who's joining now, or with the interns or new hires, or your younger brothers, or whoever it is. You have to share the knowledge, right? And guide them, support them, how they do it, everything you do it, and yeah, continuous learning and skill development. I spoke about it, but now you get more in-depth learning, right? Low power optimization techniques, advanced verification methodologies, emerging SOC integration. SOC integration. What is the emerging technologies in SOC integration? How can you do that better? I did integration 1 year before a block. Same block, I have to do it now. The same Baba Black Sheep example, right? You sang Baba Black Sheep as a nursery kid in the school in particular tone, right? Now you sing after 22 years, right? Or after 50, n number of years. You should be able to sing Baba Black Sheep in different ways. So that's innovation. So industry cares about innovation. Extremely important.